Okay, gonna do a little bit of blind reaction. I've never seen this before. Apparently, this was CrimeCon 2025 that they did in Denver. Talking to John Ramsey, and I think it's just John Ramsey. I'm not sure. So this is not very long. It's like 6 minutes.
Al, it's almost 30 years. Looking back on this, absorbing these 29 plus years, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts can be summarized very briefly. Uh, Decent, innocent victims of a horrible crime have been slandered and mistreated by law enforcement for 29 years. Another year shouldn't have to go by where we try to pass legislation to move the physical evidence to a capable analyst like Othram or even the CBI. And another year or two or five shouldn't have to go by in the legislative process before a prosecutor who is really objective is appointed to pursue this case. That needs to happen now.
Do you think it will?
The heck are you talking about? The heck are you talking about? You guys act like BPD is just hoarding material. The heck are you talking about? Like they're just hoarding the results and everybody's in there clapping like he said something like just groundbreaking. Oh, we need to move the DNA from the Boulder Police Department and into, let me guess, the Buzz Word Lab. Let me remind you of something. Several years ago, it was Bodhi Technology. Bodhi Technology was going to do everything, right? Bodhi Technology was going to solve this case. Why won't the police get it in the hands of Bodhi Technology? They're withholding everything and they're keeping it away from us. Sorry. They're keeping everything away from us. Bodhi Technology, put it in their hands. Bull crap. And here we are. What? Bodhi Technology was in 2008. Almost 20 years later from freaking Bodhi Technology when they were just like singing Bodhi Technology's praises. And now we're here with this nonsense. Oh, now it's all like you heard that. You heard, and this is what's ticking me off. Hal, if you're going to do pro bono work for John, then just, you know what? You guys were a super lawyer team making a lot of money. Put the money up. Put the money up. Y'all act like BPD is just sitting down, just saying, no, we don't want to solve this. Why would they do that? Because it's going to make you guys look bad. No, it's not. It's going to get the case out of the cold case file and into something real. At this point, it almost seems like John and Hal are clout chasing here. You're clout chasing, like you haven't. You're saying the technology or the DNA firm that is the highest on the buzzword like chain right now. Have you gone and looked at anybody else? And this is what I'm saying, talking about how the police went to the media and this and all that other nonsense. I mean, this is a direct play to what's in the media. Literally. I mean, come on. You're going straight to, come on. Oh, we want to go. Why? Have you vetted them to see if their process is actually legitimate? Can either one of you tell me what they do, what their process is, and how not only what they do, but what other labs in the country do as a vetting process? Can you tell us more than just, oh, we want to go with these guys? Is there a second check? Because I think I was looking it up and they were saying, yes, you could run it through this lab, but there's also labs around the country that you can second check it with just to, verify the results or just understand the consistency of the results. That's what you do. That's robustness. But you guys just get on stage and just say anything, and people who don't know anything about it clap their hands like he just said something profound. He did not. He just went with the buzzword lab that's in the news media right now and then decided, oh, that's what we're going to say on stage. Don't know anything about him. What happens a lot of times, and you watch him in all of the interviews when they ask about DNA technology and they ask John, what do you want to do? John just defaults straight to the newest technology firm. He doesn't list, hey, over the years I've been studying this technology and this technology. I think this lab can do it. I think this lab can do it. He always pops up in the news when something new comes out. And then, oh, you know what? Yeah, John, what do you think about it? We should do it. Is there any real original thought that you have that is motivated by you and not just jumping on television and listening to what the newscaster says and said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We should do that. Because John does that a lot. And this is no different. Man.
Do you think this case will be solved?
I think it can be solved, but I'm no predictor. If, for example, genealogical testing and matching isn't pursued, I think it's highly unlikely. Genealogical testing has solved numerous cold murder cases in California and around the country. For whatever reasons, the Boulder authorities won't do it. It is expensive, but I think people need to know that at my last meeting with John and the Boulder police chief and the Boulder DA, John offered to raise $1 million to fund genealogical testing. With John and the Boulder police chief and the Boulder DA, John offered to raise $1 million to fund genealogical testing. And they said collectively, oh no, Mr. Ramsey, we couldn't take your money. Which in turn means we don't want to do it.
What? That's not what that means at all. That means we don't want to take your money. Like sometimes what they say is just what they say. We don't want to take your money. I'm sorry, we don't want to take your money. That doesn't mean we don't want to do it. I mean, if they didn't want to do it, there would never have been a DNA test. They've ran DNA tests twice. What do you, with people that you've like, how does this narrative keep changing? They ran DNA testing with people you recommended, with people that you say exonerated you. Why are you still worried about DNA testing and you're exonerated? I'm confused because what they found was confusing. And you guys want to raise $1 million to do genetic DNA testing. Did you ask what reasons? This is because we just throw this stuff out here. Did you guys happen to ask? I actually didn't know that Hal Haddon was there in the meeting with John, but it makes perfect sense. I'm not surprised. Secondly, I don't think I've heard John mention in any of his interviews that he raised his recent interviews that he raised $1 million, or he asked if he could raise $1 million for this. I don't know what reason the Boulder Police Department has for not wanting to use his money. It sounds like a very standard corporate answer, though. I mean, we can't take your money or whatever. It could be that using that the money of this, because I think they have funds for that stuff already. Lou Smith, I think they're raising money, and I'm not sure that the police have taken their money as either. So I don't know if it has anything to do with this being some vendetta against John. I don't think they've taken Lou Smith's money either. I don't think they've taken any outside public money other than taxpayers' money, just being a government agency. So we don't know why. Did you guys ask why, other than just now you're going to talk about spread propaganda in the media and how the media spread propaganda on you. Oh man, for years the media didn't want to believe us. They spread all these lies and this, that, and the third, and you just jump on here and just say anything. Man, we haven't even verified that. Against what? the translation, they don't want to do it. No. Why? Why would they not want it?
Is it that they don't want to solve the case, in your opinion, or are they just incompetent, Hal? There's a leading question.
I think the new investigative team that's just been installed in the last year are competent. I don't think that they've been given the resources necessary to do what's needed, which is why John offered to help them. And for whatever reasons, they, in these budgetarily difficult times, declined.
John, who do you think killed your daughter?
Okay. Boulder Police Department have sunk millions, and I mean that, millions of dollars in this case. Sunk millions of dollars. When this case first came out, they were aggressive and they were transparent about where they were sinking the money. Like it's online in detailed reports about they're being transparent. At this point, we're just making stuff up just to be making stuff up. We're just saying things just to be saying things. And I don't understand what is this forum for? You get in a room with a bunch of your buddies and have a little powwow? Kind of stupidity is this? Keying and all that nonsense. Ha ha ha. Oh, what, do you think they're incompetent? All of them are incompetent? All of the waves and regimes of police that have come through since 96? Because I guarantee you, watch it. I guarantee you in another 5 to 10 years, Redfern is going to be incompetent. Looking back, hindsight is 2020. Somebody's going to say that Redfern is incompetent. If John lives that long, and if Hal Haddon lives that, or whoever else is involved in this case, it's going to be all these calls that Redfern should have never taken it over. The DA should have never taken it over. They both were incompetent it's always these things that are holding the BPD back. Oh, they don't have the resources. Oh, they don't want our help. Or they don't want the help from where we're telling them to get it from. Are you the police department? Then stay out of the freaking way. You're not a cop. You're not a detective. Why are you over here in the detective lane? Stay in the lane of a lawyer and a law-abiding, and a citizen. Stay in that lane. You don't know the first rule of being a detective. You're trying to tell detectives what to do. What murder case have you solved, please? None. You've not solved one murder case. You're struggling on this one. If you had the answers, you don't have the answers, Sway. If you had them, then we wouldn't even be here at CrimeCon. The conversation at CrimeCon would have been different. It would have been, how did you solve this case? What led you to think about this? And how did you find it? Other than that, it's a bunch of onstage pontification about nothing. Much to do about nothing is all it is. Just setting up, this is no substance. I'm sorry. No substance is going forth right now. None of it. Just talking on stage to be talking. What are we talking about? Did you think they're incompetent? The police right now are incompetent? All of them?
What type of person?
Well,
I promise it better not be a regurgitation. I promise it better not be anything regurgitated. Please, I'm tired of that.
I've read, of course, we've had John Douglas, the fellow that developed the whole profiling program within the FBI, voice his opinion.
Right.
His opinion was, and it hurt to hear this, that it was someone who was very angry at me or very jealous of me. And they wanted to hurt you, like killing your daughter. And I can't imagine I've made anybody that angry. And you may not even know him. So that's his theory. Lou Smith's theory, who's this legendary detective, said, I think it was a kidnapping gone wrong. And I always thought those two.
She knows who Lou is, John. She knows who he is. My goodness, we all know who Lou is. I don't need you to reintroduce Lou to me. What are we talking about? You see, they get up in here and they have a little powwow. Oh, let's sit around and kumbaya and talk about the good old days. We know who Lou is. We know who John Douglas is. I didn't ask you. And I told y'all in one of these other videos, John does this all the time. He will not give you an answer about what he thinks and who he thinks did it, what this killer is. He keeps doing this. Oh, John Douglas said it's either going to be Lou Smith or John Douglas. My God, can we get a real look? See, that was the problem with Patsy. Patsy wouldn't have said John Douglas, and Patsy wouldn't even she wouldn't even have referred to Lou Smith. She'd have just started talking. She would have probably said something like a very, very angry man. That's what she would have said. But now that Patsy's not here, and it would have been off script a little bit, at least it would have been some variety. You know what I mean? But now that Patsy's gone, there is no variety. John is like, it's going to be the same answer. I ain't changing it. I'm not even going to try to add a little dash of diversity in that. I'm sorry. I can't. The word just came and went. I'm sorry. It came and went again. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to add a dash of anything different. Just go keep it the same, right? There it is. That's what I was going to say. Razzle dazzle. I'm not even going to add a little spice to it. A little razzle dazzle to it. A little sprinkle. A little something here, a little something there. I'm not adding nothing. I'm just going to go. It's like, yo, at some point in time, don't you get tired of this? At some point in time, don't you get tired of hearing the same thing? It's where it's just like, John, come on, man. Like, what do you think? And nobody's catching it. It's just going over people's heads. It's like, don't you think that's weird that we keep asking John what he thinks, and he never says, well, as long as I've been looking at my daughter's case and I've been whatever, this is what I think it is. Oh my goodness. I don't give a crap about hearing about what Lou Smith thinks.
I said, I can't imagine I've made anybody that angry. And you may not even know him. So that's his theory. Lou Smith's theory, who's this legendary detective, said, I think it was a kidnapping gone wrong. And I always thought those two conflicted. And then somebody pointed out, well, no, that doesn't conflict. It was a kidnapping that hurt your daughter and hurt you that went wrong. And I thought, okay, they don't conflict. That was very reassuring. But I read a profile recently by some retired FBI profiler, and they just examined the ransom note. Didn't look at anything else. Said, who wrote this note? Just by reading this long 3-page note, who wrote the note? And they said it was most likely a male. He was a very sadistic person. He would have exhibited sadistic characteristics in his life. People would have observed that. This guy's a weirdo. Yeah. You'd have seen that. And he was a psychopath. And I don't know anybody like that I know of.
You don't think you do?
I don't think I do. This is absolute pure.
Huh. You might. You might. Hey, look. They might be right under your nose. You might know them. I mean, I don't know.
Evil, demonic evil.
Correct.
No question. And I certainly knowingly didn't have anybody working in our company or that I knew that even approached that kind of demonic evil.
Do you feel this case can be solved as long as the genetic DNA is tested by a competent lab?
100%. I believe there's a
Feel this case can be solved as long as the genetic DNA is tested by a competent lab.
100%. I believe there's a, and I've said 70% chance we can get an answer. We may not, but the odds are very high that we can. This new technology that's been,
As the genetic DNA is tested by a competent lab.
100%. I believe there's a, and I've said 70% chance we can get an answer. We may not, but the odds are very high that we can. This new technology that's been employed finding these old killers from old cold cases is dramatic improvement over the last testing that was done on our case, which was 8 or 10 years ago. You know, when it was first tested and they got this sample where they had unidentified male DNA in January 1997, I think you had to have a sample the size of a dime or a quarter. It took a lot of material to extract a DNA sample. Today, I'm told by these cutting-edge labs, they can work with as little as a picogram, however big that is, not very big, of information off of a crime scene piece of evidence. So to not do that is tragic. To do it, I think we got a pretty good chance of getting an answer.
We got to get rid of this tired argument of incompetence. Where is the proof that the Boulder Police Department was legitimately incompetent in any statistically significantly different way than any other police department? It's one thing to say that, oh, this crime lab or this police department has a knack for solving, homicides or whatever. But every crime scene, from what I understand, I'll say this, could be wrong, but I believe that there is an element on every crime scene that police will tell you a lot of times they could have done something different. They could have done something better. I believe that they would say that. And I'm frustrated because hindsight is 2020 and people are saying that the Boulder Police Department could have done something better. We have no proof of that, especially in the moment. We can sit here and say that 80% they did everything 80% by the book. Could they have maybe collected samples of DNA better? Sure. But what I don't understand is that there's no accountability for John and Patsy Ramsey, especially John. There's no accountability to ask him, well, John, why were you in and out of the crime scene? Why were you ducking and moving around the crime scene? And before we get to this idea that, hey, I didn't know. Well, when you sent your sister-in-law back into the crime scene, and it was tape everywhere, especially in her room, on JonBenét's room, why was the tape not respected? Why did you go in JonBenét's room and grab a medal off of the wall? You're not respecting the crime scene and you're not respecting the investigation process. When Linda Arndt, that's what I'm saying, you don't listen. And Linda Arndt was down there examining the body of JonBenet. Why did you come up and just throw a blanket over JonBenet as she's trying to examine it to further contaminate the crime scene? What accountability is there? You know what? Ask him that question on stage instead of these softball questions, these loser questions, just to sit around in a powwow and talk about how the Boulder Police Department is incompetent. We're not talking about people from 1996 anymore. Those people are not even on the force anymore. They haven't even been on the force in like 20 years. I think Tom Trujillo just left. Those people are not even there anymore. They're under new direction. And you're still talking to me about what happened in 1996. You're still referring to the Boulder Police Department. All those people are gone that left in 1996 or shortly after. Those people are not even there anymore. What are you talking about? Those people haven't been there in years. They've retired and gone on. And you're still blaming them. Okay, what about now? Why are we talking about the Boulder Police Department's incompetence now? They've gotten new leadership. Godly, like 5 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, something like that, John goes on television and he's talking about his meeting with Redfern. He's like, he seems like a pretty nice guy. I like him. I think he's going to do the right thing. All of a sudden, we're still calling these guys incompetent. It's like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Not sure I understand. Not sure I understand that. And it continues to be this recycled narrative that you and your friends help you keep up. But we get no closer to solving the case as we should. None of this gets us closer to solving the crime. And nobody has stopped to think to sit down and have a real heart-to-heart with John Ramsey and say, are there any questions that we're not asking that maybe we need to do a better job of asking? Are there any angles that we've not explored we need to do a better job of exploring? We need to get real, legitimate, solid answers from John. We need to sit him down and ask deeper questions than just this stupid, like regurgitated, looping, cycling line of questions that you always ask him. Who cares about the Boulder Police Department? We're trying to get to the bottom of how do we approach this case. Stop telling me about the latest DNA technology. What else is there that you've looked at on this case and say, I've tracked the movements of that night, and from what it looks like maybe the person was this kind of person. What do you think? You guys are sitting on stage with your legs crossed and your socks showing on your ankles and your freaking pants too high. Worry about pulling your pants down around your ankles in high watering instead of running down the Boulder Police Department on some nonsense. Respectfully. It's foolishness, man. You got to be. What else is there? Like, we talk about this all the time. Every time they bring John on television, it's always leading back to the DNA. Oh, the DNA. If you guys could just get the DNA, then I could. You and this DNA stuff all the time. Is there anything else? What else have you legitimately looked at? You know what? Some people would be weirded out by the fact that you never talk about anything other than what somebody else thinks. We never talk about the polygraph results. We never talk about how the person may have got in that night and what they may have done. We never reminisce about anything other than the DNA in this case. Have we attacked this? All this counsel, have we attacked this from any other angle, or are we just doing maintenance right now? Are we doing media maintenance right now to continue to show yourself favorably in the eyes of the media? We need to sit you down for another deposition, another 3 to 4 hours, 12, make it 12. And while you're at it, release Fleet White's testimony. I would like to see it. Georgia. Blocking and hindering people from getting to it, putting it behind a paywall so nobody can find it. And even when they say, you know what, I'll pay for it, can't have it. What? But I'll pay for it. But especially this, we're keeping it. What's going on here? What are you guys up to? Giving people crumbs, but like, all right. You know what? Let me tell you something. Somebody has to sit down and legitimately challenge John. And I'm not saying just like bombard him with like crazy questions. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about bullying him. You know what I mean? It's not about trying to sit somebody down and force a confession out of them. I mean, well, maybe some of you think that way, but it's not about that. For me, it's not about that. It's about sitting him down, and there are very pressing questions that need to be answered. How would you move around the house? How would they get away? What would they be doing here? Where would they have found this? Where is the bottle of melatonin that you supposedly took? We need to answer like all these weird, like kind of offhand questions, because I want to understand a little bit more about how you approached and how you can help us solve this case. Because right now, you're not helping us very much. It's the same thing over and over again, just regurgitated stuff. And that doesn't help me. Help me help you. It almost feels like you don't want this case solved. All the stuff you could be doing, you sitting there calling my phone. What update do you have now? The freak doesn't matter. Go out and find a lead, something. Do some work, something. Petition the court. Put a petition in to the court to say, hey, we're trying to get access to the DNA to move it over to the labs. Why don't you do that? Why don't you raise enough money to petition the court to try to force it out of the hands of the Boulder Police Department? Because you know what? It's this hand washing. It's saying, well, we went there and we offered them money, but we tried. You know what? If you want it bad enough, that's your daughter. This was Patsy's dying wish, or was it? For you to find John, you gotta find JonBenét's killer. You know what? In all of this, where is Burke? I'm confused. We're talking about, look, for years, people try to find the killer of their loved ones. So they could be like, man, it was like before I died, I just wanted this to happen. Or before mama died, she wanted this to happen. And I'm glad, and she didn't get to make it, but I'm so glad that we did. I don't see any sense of freaking urgency from Burke or John. And maybe I'm just not in the background, but I don't hear none of these. Freaking Hal Haddon is on the phone with the police. What are you doing here? Hal Haddon is on the phone with the police with John. Is Burke also included in this call? What did Burke say? How does Burke feel? Does he recollect anything that night or anything the morning after that he can help us with? Or the morning or the night before? Did he hear any movements? Because I'm going to tell you something. To be down there with somebody like that, there would be a trickling, an opening of the door, something like that. You know what I mean? Burke moving around, putting the toy together. Maybe the intruder tried to open up the basement door and all you heard was a door cracked. Burke looks up, looks around, and they close it back and they go hide somewhere. I don't know where you would hide, because Burke would grab a flashlight and run downstairs. It's his house. Maybe he'd run downstairs and just be flashing, turn on the light. Oh, thought I heard something. Oh, seems like I didn't. Close it back. These are the tense moments that would happen in the house. Burke, did you do any? Did you hear anything? Anything? Nothing. That's all I got for you. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Until the next time. Take it easy.